This is Don't Panic, episode number 389, recorded August 5th, 2024. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and of course you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by the man certain to win the Veep stakes. It's future Vice President Colby Rabideau. Good evening.
That would be a real twist, wouldn't it?
Listen, honestly, and this is a full compliment, I can't think of anyone more suited to be vice president than you, because you're the good vibes guy. You know, you're the listen, it's not the situation room at 2 a.m. in a crisis situation, which I'm sure you do fine in. But Colby, when the president's dealing with the tough stuff, you're like, listen, guys, it's all good.
Right. Feels good.
You know, you cut a ribbon on a factory or something, and you're like, see, we did it.
Yeah. I could get on board with that. I feel like I could be the vice president. I don't think I would want to be the actual president.
No way. That's way too much work.
The problem is that if something happens to the actual president, then you have to be the president.
But then everybody will like you, because they're all going to be sad the other guy's gone, hopefully. And then it's like, we're all excited. You get the Kamala Harris treatment, where everyone's like, we hated the other guy, and now you're here.
It's like, you're not 80 years old? Amazing.
You've cleared that minimum bar. Yeah, it's all upside.
We joke, but that's exactly how I feel about it.
I mean, listen, you got to remember, Dick Cheney shot a guy in the face, and he still got away with it. So that vice president bar, man, I'm just saying, I think you'll do a fine job.
Well, you know what? If Kamala Harris taps me for the vice president position, I'll do my duty. I'll do my duty to the
I think you will. I think you're going to be pivotal in the swing states. You're gonna bump up the numbers with key demographics. I think Colby's the guy. Vice President Rabideau. It rings.
It does. It certainly does. But obviously I can't comment on that.
No. So other than your burgeoning political career, what else is going on? What's good, Colby?
I'm pretty good. It's been hot again. I guess it's this summer. I guess it's supposed to be hot this time of year, the early days of August. But what are you gonna do? ACs work great, so just stay inside mostly. Unfortunately, I had to leave the house today because Laura and I went and got TSA pre-checked. Finally, 3 years
Nothing
later.
better on a hot day than going to the airport.
So we didn't do global entry, so we didn't have to go be interviewed by the actual TSA, but we did have to go to a Staples in the plaza where Boston City Hall is, and there's a weird back room in the Staples where they scan your fingerprints, and I guess they didn't ask us any questions really. I had pre-filled out an online form and they made me review the information in the form. Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty anticlimactic. I got an email after that said you should receive your confirmation in 3 to 5 days, but up to 60 days. Okay.
Hey, as long as you got your known traveler ID, you're going to be good to go. So this is your first time with pre-check?
Yep. I've never been pre anything.
Wow.
I've never entered anything special. I've never been validated by the government before. I don't think I've ever had my fingerprint scanned, though I don't know.
I was about to say, you're in the database now. They got you.
Right. I was off the grid. What do you think they would do if you had burned, isn't that a thing that people you can remove your fingerprints? What do you think they would do if you went to get pre-checked and scanned your hands in and you had no fingerprints?
They would arrest you immediately? I have no idea. That's the most suspicious thing. I mean, I guess some kind of industrial accident or something, but Yeah, I mean the thing about the fingerprints is you never use them in the process of being a pre-check, because like global entry, you actually do use your fingerprints at the kiosks in customs.
Oh, that's cool.
That's because they'll take a picture of your face and you actually put your fingers on it and they'll scan them. So
Sick.
that makes sense. Why they fingerprint you for pre-check, I have no clue, because there is no point in the process where you need to like confirm your fingerprints. So that was always strange to me. So at that point, I don't even know if they got a good scan. Maybe the scanner doesn't even work and they're just psyching you out.
Yeah. I mean, it like, there was like a weird, like glass box thing. It was probably literally like a scanner, like a computer scanner. Um, and you had to like put your thumbs on it, and then it popped up like it showed something that looked like a fingerprint on the screen. So it seems like it did something. But maybe that's just a facsimile fingerprint. It's like, Joe Biden's fingerprints or something, and they just show those to everyone.
The fake CSI fingerprints where they're like, yeah, close enough.
Right. Ding, 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 ding.
It's a perfect
20
match to
matches.
what? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, no, this will be fun for you. I kind of, it's one of those things. I hate to sound like it was better back in my day, but pre-check 8 years ago when I first got it, the lines were actually short because not everybody had it, and now they're like still better, but they're not that much shorter depending on the airport. But it's still a good thing to have.
Yeah, I kind of assume that it's not going to help with the line at all, especially here. I feel like a lot of people have it flying out of Logan.
Smaller airports, it's definitely better. And really the advantage is, they keep changing the rules of like shoes on, shoes off, laptops and bags, laptops not in bags. It's different per airport, per person. And pre-check's nice because it's just like, just do whatever the fuck you want. So just don't set off the metal detector is the only rule. As long as you do that, you're good. So that'll be nice.
Right. There's a part of me that is disappointed. Like, I've been flying in planes by myself for, how old are we? 33?
Very.
Yeah. Like, I've been flying in planes by myself for like, 14, 15 years. I feel like I have a system for getting through security, which we've discussed in depth on the show. So we probably don't need to talk about it here.
No,
but yeah. So it feels like almost feels like a shame to lose it, but on the other hand, it sounds kind of nice to just walk through.
Well, it was funny because when I flew to Charlotte a couple months ago, I flew with a coworker. We both got in the pre-check line, waited together, got all the way up to where they scan your ID, and his known traveler number, the number you get with your pre-check, never made it onto his ticket. So despite the fact he was a certified pre-check member, it wasn't tied to the account. She's like, no, you have to go through the regular security. So he had to leave and go all the way. But I thought to myself, like, I don't even know if I'd know how to go regular security. Like, I don't even know what the rules are. If they were like, oh, and you have to, like, take your pants off, and you have to do a little shuffle, and they have to, like, triple body scan. Like, I don't even know what they do in the regular lines anymore. So that would be terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, it is, like, exactly what you were describing, where, like, depending on the day or the airport or, like, whether or not it's raining or something, like, you have to do different things. But, like, mostly it's the same. Like, you have to take your laptop out of the bag, and you also have to take any device that is bigger than an iPhone, than a cell phone, out of the bag. So they're like, they always, the person who's yelling at everyone is like, they go through the list of devices that are bigger than a cell phone, like tablets, iPads, Kindles, laptops, Nintendo Switches, I don't know. They have a whole list of things that you have to take out of your bag. You still have to take your shoes off. You got to take your, belts and stuff off. Coats usually have to come off. I don't.
And then
if you have like a sweater, it's fine. Yeah, and then you do the like
body scanner.
Right, you spread your legs and whatever, get violated by microwaves.
Well, that's what's exciting about pre-check, Colby. If you want, you can still ask for a pat down. and they will do it. So if you're interested, like, don't
Well,
be
there
shy.
you
You
go.
paid for it.
You got the option. So there was a period of time where, like, the problem with going through the body scan, well, like, you have to take off your belt to go through the body scanner. I don't know if this is true anymore, but there was a period of like 3 flights that I took where every time I took a flight, I had to have a pat down of my like crotch area after the body scanner. And like finally one of the people said to me, like, yeah, sometimes if your like pants are baggy or they're like too low, like it messes things up and like it looks weird, so like this happens to you. And so it's like, oh,
Did you
that's
tell him
super
that
annoying.
like it's not normally like this? I wear a belt. Like I could have just kept the belt on. Like,
Well, yeah,
you made this. Yeah.
Right. So part of my like new age security routine is that like before you go on the body scanner, you like hike your pants up as far as you can. God. But I guess the nightmare is over now. I'll just get to do whatever I want.
Well, I hope that's a good experience for you. You'll have to keep us up to date on how it goes, and if it is actually any faster.
I certainly will. I'm gonna see if I can get my camera to refocus on my face right now.
Yeah, we were before the show talking about what's going on in our respective lives. I have been on an eBay kick, actually. So,
ooh, the electronic bay.
Listen, still hopping. All these years later, believe it or not. Why's my microphone about to fall off the desk? Don't do that. I got a new arm and it's flaky. Anyway, I was curious, Colby. So your apartment, you live in a city, you got a beautiful place. It's not very big. Doesn't have a lot of square feet. I can't imagine you have a lot of junk lying around. Or maybe you do.
All our junk is on shelves.
You've gone vertical with the junk. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Problem I have is
most of it's out of eye shot, which is great.
I do that too. It's called closets, guest bedrooms, under beds. I've just got so much junk everywhere, especially electronics junk, because I can't help myself and I buy too much stuff. And I was looking through a bunch of it, and I'm like, it's good stuff. It's good stuff I just don't use. And I thought about Facebook Marketplace, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with people coming to my house. So I said, I'm going to go on eBay. So I have been, I sold my VR headset. I sold my Meta headset.
Ooh, smart.
Give the Apple thumbs up, which people are still buying. I sold my old microphone arm. That went out. I sold, I had an old CalDigit TS3 dock that I wasn't using. That got sold. So I've been turning a bunch of this stuff into cash. It's been great. eBay is super easy to use. People are buying the stuff pretty quick. They help you print the label. You throw it in a box, and boom, you're done. It's been great.
That was my question, was going to be about the shipping process.
I had sold stuff on eBay many, many years ago, and it's gotten a lot better. They will pretty accurate, like you tell them how big the box is going to be, and it's all USPS, and they'll basically tell you what it costs, and you can pass it on to the person buying it or not. But all the stuff ships for $7, $8, $9. You can usually throw that at plus $9 shipping, and they literally will generate the label. You print it, you tape it on, and it was pretty darn seamless. And what's nice about eBay is they do it's all still through PayPal, and it's all guaranteed. So if someone tries to scam you or some shit, which has happened to me before, they'll make it right. So, it's, when it comes to it's not collectibles or anything like that, but it's been good to get rid of that stuff. My father's watching live. He just commented, can you sell my George Foreman? Actually, Pops, I am coming to take your Facebook portal. I bought him and my mother those, you remember Facebook Portal, the little cameras? I already sold my mother's. I'm selling yours because you don't use it anymore, and that's my money. But yes, your George Foreman. I should point out he is one of the original George Foremans from when they first came out. Yeah, I've been in your basement, Father. There is so much ancient stuff in there. We could just have a whole tag sale. So
Sean's coming. Yeah.
yeah, all kinds of antiques. So it's been good. So that's been my recent experience. And now I'm kind of looking around my house at everything, being like, "What's that worth? What's that worth?" Turns out most of it not very much. So
Nice. That's cool. Now I'm thinking about what I would sell given the opportunity. I finally caved and bought like a new like carry-on like suitcase thing. Cuz my old one, the one I had before is it still works fine, which is super annoying. But it was like I bought it for a trip where I had high anxiety about not being able to pack enough stuff. And
yep.
so I got one that was like slightly bigger than, the like carry-on size where it'll definitely fit in like most planes. This one was like, yeah, it'll fit in like a lot of planes. And that was like too much anxiety for me to ever try and carry it onto a plane. And it also didn't have spinny wheels. It was just like the two linear rolling wheels. And so for years I've wanted to get a different one, and I finally caved and bought a different one. But I still have this old suitcase that is like,
and that's big. That's sizable.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of beat up, but it works fine. So
the tough thing about that's going to be a fortune to ship because it's so big. You got to get rid of that locally. But yeah, I bet you could flip that for sure.
I'm not opposed to Facebook Marketplacing. I've done it before. It's usually fine. Except for the one time where... Do you remember when our refrigerator broke?
Yes.
So our refrigerator broke and we couldn't get a new refrigerator for like a month and a half. So we went to Target and bought a mini refrigerator. And then the new refrigerator came, and so we Facebook Marketplace the mini refrigerator. This lady, messaged and was like, "Oh yeah, I'll come get it. I don't know, Tuesday or something." And like in the interim, Laura and I got COVID, and so Tuesday came around horribly sick. Like we both have fevers or whatever, and we messaged this lady who was like, "Look, we have COVID. We are like actually sick. Like, you probably shouldn't come." And the lady was like, no, I don't care. I don't care about COVID. I'm gonna come. I want this refrigerator. So we're like, okay, fine. So she comes like 3 hours earlier than she said she would be there. She's like, she said she was gonna come at like 11 a.m. and it's like 8:30 in the morning, and this woman messages and it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm outside." It's like, okay. So we like load up the refrigerator on the hand truck and like go downstairs, full on like full COVID, like fevered out, like like roll it down the stairs, roll it outside to this woman's car, like put it down. And she like looks at it and she like opens the door and she's just like, "Well, I don't think it's big enough." It's like,
"Oh, let me go get you the bigger one I have upstairs."
It's a miniature refrigerator. like how big did you think it was going to be? And like I'm pretty sure like we had very thoroughly documented the dimensions of the thing. And she's like standing there in front of the refrigerator with the door open and just over and over saying like, "I just don't know if it's big enough." And that's all she said for like 5 minutes. And finally I was just like, okay, well, we're going back upstairs. I took the refrigerator and we just went back upstairs. It was so weird and I was so annoyed and I felt so bad. Because as I think everyone knows, when you have a fever, like doing physical exercise, like moving a refrigerator, does not make you feel better.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's Yeah, I've thankfully I've sold a bunch of stuff in Facebook Marketplace. I've been thankful to have a lot of great experiences. The only bad experience I ever had briefly was an exercise bike that I basically never used. So it was basically brand new, but it's big and heavy. And so I listed it for like this is not the exact, but it was like 180. And I had this person message me. I had not a lot of interest, but this person said, "Well, would you sell it for 140?" And I was like, I didn't want to, but I was like, I want it out of my house. 140, you got a deal. Come get it. The husband and wife, they show up, they come in, they kind of take a look at it. We'll give you $100 for it. I'm pretty sure we agreed on 140. Like, you said 140 and I said 140. And I don't see, and they're staring at me like there's something wrong with me. I'm like, it's brand new. So I just stared them down. And then, of course, like a huge sucker, they're like, well, what about 120? I was like, will you leave right now if you give me $120? And they said, yes. I said, fine. The $20 is worth you just getting the fuck out of my house with this extra. Because, by the way, I'd been trying to sell it for like 2 years. I was like, get out of my house. And they did. And they took the bike and they gave me $120 and they left. But I just couldn't believe the gall of these people to show up and be like, oh, you know that? I already negotiated you down ahead of time. And I'm going to pretend like this is all the money I have. And just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they still got one over at me.
Right. Yeah, like, I don't know. I still think about this sometimes. And I think, like, maybe the lady was hoping we would say, like, oh, well, will you take it for less money?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I can think of, because she just kept saying it over and over and over.
Waiting for you to say, annoyed. Well, we just want to get rid of it, so here, Yeah.
Right. I think that was also, like, I think she had also, like, asked if we would sell it for less on, like, when she messaged us the first time.
But that's the funny thing is, like, if someone told me they were sick, I'd run away, because that's the exact time someone does not want to be fucked with. Like, that's the one time where you're like, get the, like, I'm going to kick someone's ass because I just feel so bad.
Exactly.
Bad move on her part.
Yeah, she was super, I don't know. Who knows? Like, maybe has some crazy system and this works on people. Or maybe she's just a crazy person. I don't know. Maybe.
That's why I like eBay, because I don't have to meet them. I don't got to talk to them. The box magically disappears. I'll pay the $9 shipping for that. Worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have, so where my sister and my parents live, there's not a huge Facebook marketplacing scene because you have to go farther, but like you can do it for big stuff. But mostly the move there is that you just leave stuff on the side of the road, and like almost like it seems impossible that it happens so quickly, but like within an hour it will be gone. It's not like a high traffic place. But like if, this suitcase or whatever, if I leave that on the side of the road, guaranteed an hour it'll be gone. It's like, I don't know where it goes. I don't know who takes it. It seems like it's different people every time.
It's the closest thing to magic we have. Blink and it's gone.
Yep. The magic of free.
Listen, people will take whatever junk you got.
Yep. It's true.
Let's see here, Colby. What else was on our discussion rundown? You were thinking about making a purchase. Is that true?
Yeah. So I have a problem. I don't have it with me, but to get into my apartment building, like for our apartment, we have a key, like a physical key that like opens a lock in the door. But to get into the building has like a little RFID fob thing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they switched to this system like 3 or 4 years ago. And, I've had the same stupid, like cheap plastic fob thing on my keychain this whole time. And mine, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I like dropped the keys or like sat on them weird or something, but like the fob like cracked and it's like slowly deteriorating and falling apart now. Obviously gonna have to get a new one. But I thought that maybe instead of getting a new fob from the association, which cost me like $50, I should get one of these like Flipper Zero devices that can do things like record the RFID signature of your key fob and like emulate the key fob so you can get into the building magically. And I wanted to know, A, have you seen this thing before, Sean? And B, pro-con.
Yeah, I have seen this before, namely in people doing crimes. This is a lockpicks tool, if you will, of people, best case just messing with stuff, and worst case literally doing. This microphone stand's going to be the death of me. It's going to be the death of me. The problem is it doesn't fit on my desk. It's a whole thing. This is my life. I should just hold the damn microphone. Yeah, the thing about the Flipper Zero, for those who aren't familiar, it's essentially Raspberry Pi-esque. It's a little microcomputer, but the big thing about it is it's got all kinds of radio transmitters in it. In a whole bunch of different frequencies, the stuff that does smart home things, the stuff that does RFID, it's got NFC, it's got Bluetooth, it's got infrared in it. Basically any sort of wireless communication protocol this thing can do. And what people are finding is it can read all the wireless signals around you, it can copy them, it can activate them, you can turn on and off other people's TVs, and you can put you pay for things with NFC on it, and it can do all this stuff, and people are finding all kinds of crazy ways to just mess with people. And I saw somebody took one of these to like a Dave and Buster's, and they all use like NFC kind of the power play cards. And so he was going around and just like hitting up all the machines and playing games for free. In which case this thing pays for itself. So I guess my question to you, Colby, is what else are you going to use it for other than keying into the building?
Well, I can key into the building. I can also key into work. Like for work, there's just like a dumb like tappy card thing that I forget all the time, so like I could use it for that. I think it would be interesting for like I don't know if it would work. Like I don't know what the tech specs on like my air conditioners and stuff are, but like my air conditioners all have remotes, and like the air conditioners, like they're like smart home. Their smart home integration is truly like cosmetic. Like it's like you connect it only to Google Home, and if you connect it to Google Home you can like see what temperature it is, but like you can't change the temperature or anything. It's pretty meaningless. So like that could be cool. TVs use remote controls, like you were saying, that it has like the IR sensor thing. That could be cool. I've I have all kinds of things that use remote signals.
I read here, apparently you can crash Android phones by flooding them with Bluetooth messages.
Yeah. I think that sounds super fun. I just think it sounds it sounds very fun. I haven't bought.
I mean, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Googling, like, here you go, 10 actually useful things Flipper Zero can do. Oh, here you go, Colby, you could be a hero. You can scan pet RFID chips. So, they put the microchips in pets. This will scan them, and you can read the information. If there's a lost pet, you can help find its owner.
Sick.
Isn't that nice?
It is nice. I like, there's a really interesting article about how the soon-to-be outdated Charlie cards for the Boston T, transit system like work, and they're like semi like unencrypted like RFID format that just like, right, it's like they don't like, there's no verification really, so like the terminal is like literally updating the balance that is stored on your card. So it's like you could probably just fake that if you wanted to. But they started rolling out the new fancy like tap your phone thing, so that probably doesn't.
That stuff is cool. I'm pretty not that I ever do that, but that's exciting. Yeah, as a person who's rarely there, you can use your Flipper Zero as a physical passkey. for your computer. So that's cool.
Nice.
I still, it says cool things. That's none of this is cool. I'm looking for actual cool things. 7 cool and useful things to do. It's mostly the stuff we talked about. Also, how's this? Oh, here we go. No, this is all really boring. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, Colby. I do think it's cool, but I think if you're just going to use it to get in and out of buildings, there isn't like a simpler programmable RFID card thing you can get. I mean, it's going to be less fun.
You can do like you can get like an RFID like app things for your phone that let you do a bunch of RFID stuff, like just like sort of generically like read RFIDs, and you can also like write to like program RFIDs from your phone. If you have, I don't think there's like a built-in Apple way to do it, but like you can get an app that will do it. You can buy like blank RFID like sticker things and like put them on stuff and like program things to happen in your phone, which is kind of fun. Like you can hook that stuff into like shortcuts and things, I think.
Colby, listen, as the king of people who buy unnecessary things because they think they're cool and buying things makes them happy, I of course support your decision and definitely think you should do it. And then if you don't use it, sell it on eBay.
There you go. Yeah, it's like really all things considered is not that expensive for like garbage impulse.
Especially because you need something because your tag is busted. So
right. Soon I'm just going to be locked out of the apartment. Can't have that.
And then to get someone to let you in, you can like zap their TVs on and off and zap money off their credit cards or whatever. I'm not smart enough to know, but I always wondered with the NFC stuff, like, why isn't it? Can't I just like get close enough to somebody's wallet and just like charge their card?
Their credit card.
I mean, I guess that's why they have those like metal wallets that are supposed to protect your wireless chips. But I'm like, could I just like put this up to someone's wallet and then it's like, oh, I have your credit card now. You'll have to let us know. You'll have to try it out.
I don't know the answer to that question.
I just love the thought of you like going up to the wallet in some guy's rear pocket and just slapping the flipper up against it. Excuse me? I'm just stealing your credit card. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just takes a second. It'll end really well for you.
That makes me want to try it with my credit card and see what happens.
I believe from what I've read, you can put a credit card on it and pay for things with it.
It's terrifying.
So,
do you think people would think that was weird if you were at a store and paying for things with like some mysterious device?
So there is an account that comes up on my Instagram Reels once in a while. No idea why. I have no interest in it, but it keeps coming up. Must be popular. And it's a guy who goes to his gym, and every day when you go into the gym, you have to like scan your like barcode to know that you've paid to go in. And
right.
And it's like, 100 days I'm scanning in with different items. So he prints out little copies of the barcodes and like he'll put it on like a big pool inflatable and like scan that to get into the gym. And then one day it's like a giant log with the little barcode on it, and he scans it. And every day it's a different item. And the people at the gym are clearly like way over this by like day 40. It's like a slice of pizza with a little barcode on it. And it's just like the most random. And they're so over it. And I'm like, that's what I imagine this will be like, where it's like, I just don't think they'll care. I think you could take a carrot and scan it to pay. And if it worked, they'd say, hey, cool carrot. And thank you, sir. Have a nice day. Yeah, basically. This is actually pretty not suspicious compared to some of the other things you could be paying with.
That's very funny. I gotta get into your Instagram circles.
That was because I was cooking up like lists of things we should do on the show, and I thought like we should like for a week like share each other's like feeds, TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and just watch it and see like a slice of life into each other's algorithms. I think it would be very strange.
Me too.
We are not ready for that. Um,
No.
Speaking of slices of life, I haven't talked about this on the show. I bought an Xbox. I talked to you about this a little bit, Colby. My first ever video game system.
Xbox.
I'm in the future officially.
Nice.
About a couple decades too late.
Mhm.
And I tried Far Cry the other night, which
Ooh,
I know you've recommended on the show.
Which number?
Far Cry 5 is part of Game Pass.
Okay.
And it took me about, well, there were a lot of like cutscenes and stuff, but of actually playing it took me about 2 seconds to realize why I don't play video games. That is because I'm very bad at the shooting part of video games. And that's why I'm doing good at college football. Actually, I'm undefeated right now because that takes no precision. You just like hit the button and it runs the play. When it comes to the gun, it's a lot of like, and I like have no ability to shoot. It's a problem.
It does take some practice. Like the first person shooter thing is it's a thing. It's a thing like any other game like Mario Kart or whatever, like, they're all kind of the same, but you do have to learn.
Well, but also I've driven a car.
Yeah, but I mean, you haven't driven a car with a gamepad, right?
You don't know. I mean, maybe. No, the problem, it's just the precision part, which is why next on my list to try is Metal Gear Solid 5, which I've watched people online play. That is a very stealth, sneak, sniper shot kind of game. Like, it's not about spraying down a bunch of guys. It's about being slow and precise. I think that's going to be more my speed.
Sure. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Baldur's Gate is very fun too, and is like, that's the like D&D as a video game one, and it's like turn based. So there's no like time pressure to do what you need to do. So you can, there's a lot of like, setting up like what you want to happen kinds of things, which is fun.
Does it have a multiplayer?
It does, but it does not. I was actually just looking this up before because I was like, well, we could all play Baldur's Gate, but it doesn't they don't have like cross play.
Gotcha.
So because you chose your brand allegiance, we can't have fun together.
Here's the thing, like, okay, this mount is like so busted. I'm just gonna hold it. PlayStation's expensive.
Is it?
Yes. PlayStation's like $500. You can get an Xbox for $300.
Wow.
I don't, because they don't do like a discount, because they have like the Xbox X, but then they have the Xbox S, which is sort of the less fancy version. They don't have PlayStation, so it was an investment decision. But a lot of games have crossplay now. Like I said,
true.
if you ever want to get college football, you can play as the Marist Red Foxes.
the Red Fox.
That's right. Now they don't. What's funny is for the big teams, like you can play as the literal, actual, real people. But Marist is so unimportant; it's a bunch of fake people. Right. They didn't bother paying the athletes to get their actual likenesses.
Do they have real names?
Or
is it like are the players' names real and like just the character? They're
supposed to, I don't know if they're supposed to look like, but yes, on the big like Ohio State's like the real guy. They paid him actually for the first time. Wow. It was like $200 a person, but
right.
But
that was a thing.
They got paid, but no, on the smaller school, you actually have to like create. So there's not too much into it, but there's like a library of create your own, and somebody has created Marist. They're not officially in the game. There's no Pioneer Conference teams made it in, unfortunately.
Darn. The Pioneer Conference.
Yeah, pretty devastating.
Pioneering being bad at football.
Listen, former co-champions of the league. Our championship was shared that year. Don't remember why, but co-champions.
Everybody gets a trophy. I don't feel super interested in playing college football, but a different game I would definitely crossplay. I like if you decide to practice your first person shooting. I think I remember liking Far Cry 4 more than Far Cry 5. I think Far Cry 5 was pretty good, but Far Cry 4 was more fun.
Well, The other thing about Far Cry 5 is that I got bummed out immediately by the plot, which was like
Right.
the crazy church in the woods, and I'm like, oh, but this is like real. It's kind of a bummer.
Right. Far Cry 4 was like someplace else. It was not here, so it did not feel like, it was more of a, you're detaching from reality sort of thing.
Well, apparently Far Cry 6 is coming to Game Pass very soon, so I might
Nice.
jump up to that. We'll see. I got
Far
all
Cry-
the time in the world now.
Far Cry 6 is fun, but they added a bunch of like other like I don't know, like there's all this like weird like base building stuff,
Yeah.
and there's like some like really, when it first came out there was some really annoying like inventory management like BS stuff, and in more recent updates they've like made a lot of it like less important, so you can just do the fun part of the game without doing the boring part of the game. But yeah, Far Cry 6 is fun too.
Well, I'm definitely gonna check it out, and I will say, folks should check out twitch.tv/UpForDebateTV, because I will be not only streaming for that show, we'll play some games, but I'll also be just streaming myself a little bit, testing some stuff out, playing some football and some other games on there.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. Definitely subscribe and get that notification when I go live.
Excellent. I feel like there was some Xbox exclusive game that sounded interesting to me, but it was an Xbox exclusive, so I'll never be able to play it. There was some kind of space thing. There was space. Maybe it was like the Halo people, like Bungie.
Oh, is it Destiny?
No, Destiny was the PlayStation, possibly exclusive PlayStation 1. But that was from a long time ago. This one is like newer. Xbox.
They all blend together after a while, to be totally honest.
I know.
But
maybe it's Starfield?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that is a game.
I just typed in Xbox space game.
Let me guess, Halo was the first result?
It was. And Starfield was the second result. It was Starfield. I don't know if it's good, but the trailer looked kind of cool.
Well, there's a ton of stuff on Game Pass. I kind of went for that by default, figuring that would be better than outright purchasing a bunch of this stuff in case I don't like it. So,
smart.
Ton of options. So,
does PlayStation have a thing like Game Pass?
They do. PlayStation Plus, I believe. I don't know if they're as generous with what games they include, but they do have a subscription.
Oh, right. They have like a premium PlayStation Plus that lets you do more stuff. Extra. PlayStation Plus Extra.
That is one nice thing, though, about PlayStation's subscription versus Xbox's. PlayStation has a lot of like old games, like PS2 games and stuff, which Xbox does not.
They have like 400 Assassin's Creeds.
Which is, hey, it's amazing that there are that many. But I do appreciate, because some of the older games are a little simpler, and so that's like, that might be a little more my speed.
Totally. The games, I feel like they've gone too far with games, because they take so long. Like, there's so much stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure between Far Cry and Baldur's Gate, like, my, like, next 2.5 years of gaming is scheduled. Just, like, finishing those. Like, I'm an adult. I have to go to work and stuff. And, I'll play, like, a couple, like, an hour after work, or, like, an hour or two on, like, Saturday afternoon or something. But it is a huge time commitment. It takes forever. Like, it took me like 2.5 years to finish Far Cry, like whatever the new one was called. It was fun. I played the whole thing, and I had a fine time. But I wasn't buying other games in that time. It's really, honestly, it's more economical.
Well, I think you're right, but I think that's also why people are leaning heavily into sports games, which don't have long story modes, or multiplayer games like Fortnite and others that don't have long story modes. Not that people don't play them, or
Yeah.
even go to like a Spider-Man with an open world where yeah, there's a story mode, but you're not as like forced through it. So it is curious to see the change.
Do you think Spider-Man has like co-op multiplayer? That would be fun.
Oh, that would be
Multiple.
fun. But I don't have a PlayStation.
But I thought so many things have cross-play.
Not
What
this. That's
the
exclusive.
fuck?
That's a because that's a
Damn.
Sony property. That's exclusive.
Oh,
They
see,
ain't messing
I can't keep
around.
track. Right.
Here we go. Best cross-play games between Xbox and PlayStation. Let's see. Rocket League
Classic.
could play a little bit of that. Yeah, the rest of this doesn't seem all that great.
Nice.
Fortnite, we could play Fortnite.
Sure.
Minecraft,
Classic.
yeah, not a great list. Not a great list,
You
but
know-
there's some stuff.
There's just no money in not being branded.
They just don't want us to be friends.
Right?
I think that's what it
It's a
is.
shame.
You know, I was looking at this list. Are you excited about the Borderlands movie here coming out? Charlize Theron. I know you're a fan of the game.
Chores. Could be cool. I could see that being a good movie if if applied correctly.
My question is, when on earth did Borderlands come out? Like the original game.
I mean, we played it. I remember playing it with Phil, actually freshman year.
2009.
Mm-hmm.
And so it only took them 15 years to make the movie.
Right.
I hope there's still some cultural relevance.
They have made sequels since then. There was a Borderlands 2 and possibly a Borderlands 3.
There was. Borderlands 3 came out in 2019.
If that had crossplay, we could play Borderlands.
That would be fun.
It was definitely more fun with people than it was without people.
But that's true. I mean, but when I think of like games I would play, I'd play Mario Party with multiple people. I mean, I think it doesn't have to be the latest greatest.
Right. It's a brave new world.
Colby, we're coming up at the top of the show here. What a thrilling
Show.
hour it's been. Is there anything else you'd like to say, do, talk about, discuss, converse, share?
No. I think the Flipper Zero was my most pressing news. Ding.
Put it me. Okay. It stopped the recording and restarted it because my microphone got unplugged briefly. This is going great. This is gonna be fun to edit later. No, I don't. I don't think there's anything else necessarily on my list. All things are good in these neck of the woods. Dan obviously could not be here this week. Unfortunately, he's a busy man. I know he's continuing to travel out and about, and you are too.
Mm-hmm.
So next month or two we'll be busy. But
Yep.
thank goodness for
It's
Flighty,
true.
so I can spy on you guys.
Right. How would you ever know where any of us were?
It's there is something nice about a notification on my phone. Dan just took off for Oakland, and I'm like, huh? What? And it's like, oh, that's neat. It's a nice little treat in the middle of my day. But regardless, the show's not going anywhere. We're just busy people. But don't worry. As I mentioned over on Up for Debate, Matt's been hard to get a hold of because he's been on vacation and doing stuff, so it's been a little bit. I think this week we're going to try and get back online and do something fun, and I still am desperately trying for Sean Tember, Colby. We're hopefully going to have you
Sean
part of it. I'm going to send you a box of do you want to – maybe this is a great opportunity to plug. You want to know what the food stuff is going to be this year, the category?
Definitely.
This is exciting. We've done crackers. We've done cookies. I think only those two. this year, Colby, get excited. We're taking it all the way back to breakfast with breakfast cereals.
Yes.
We're going to have some of the sweet kid ones, some of the healthy adult ones. We're going to have a mix. Have your bowl and milk ready because we're going to be doing a cereal taste test. We're also going to be doing some cooking challenges. I got a whole bunch of stuff lined up for Sean Timber. So if I can wrangle Matt, that'll be coming up on the show. You're not going to want to miss it. Over at UpForDebate.tv.
I'm psyched about the cereal challenge.
I think my plan's literally going to have like a spit bucket like you'd have for wine tasting. And I'm going to dump the milk out and get fresh milk and have some cereal and, really, really give it the fair test.
Now, do you think tasting the milk will be a part of the challenge?
Oh, after you see how it changes the flavor. Well, what kind of milk am I going to use? Cow's milk? Almond milk?
I don't know.
Oat milk? Soy milk? Coconut milk?
What's your milk of choice?
Could just use coffee creamer. I would probably, to be honest, in cereal, I like almond milk. Is usually my go-to for cereal. A little thicker, a little sweeter than a cow's milk. But I'm not. I thought there was like a split second on. I'm like, I should also send them different milks to try. And I'm like, I'm not sending them milk. That's way too much of a hassle. I'm not doing that.
That sounds either not possible or very expensive.
Yeah, or totally unsafe. I wouldn't want to poison you guys. So that'll be a ton of fun. Of course, this show, don'tpanic.io, is our website. Links to all of the episodes, audio, video, will be there, so you should check that out. Of course, subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And with the video version on YouTube. And, of course, get a hold of us. don'tpanicshow@gmail.com is our email address. But we're going to put a pin in it here. So on behalf of Colby, I'm Sean. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. We're going to see you next time on another great episode of Don't Panic.
Bye.